Now at 6, calling for justice and calm. Protesters hit the streets as the city takes new action to keep tonight peaceful. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalie Pasquarella.
And I'm Stephen Holt. Chuck Scarborough has the night off tonight. Right now, things have remained peaceful as protesters pour back onto the streets of New York. Live pictures from Chopper 4 as thousands are marching through the Upper East Side, all protesting the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, and they're fighting against racial injustice across the country. Now, to tell you, this protest actually started in Lower Manhattan at Foley Square, has been marching for hours, eventually winding up to Gracie Mansion, and now we see it moving through the Upper East Side this evening. The countdown is on to tonight's curfew that begins in the city at 8 p.m. It's about 2 hours away, and it has been extended. This will go all the way through Sunday.
And just within the past few hours, the NYPD announced that when the curfew kicks in, all traffic will be banned south of 96th Street in Manhattan. Now, this excludes people who live within that zone, essential workers, buses, and delivery trucks. I want to get straight out to News 4's Adam Cooperstein, who's been on the move with those protesters. He's live now on the Upper East Side. How's it going, Adam?
It's going very peacefully, calm, and you've seen these protesters marching for 4.5 hours, more than 8 miles now. We're on 89th Street, headed westbound at the time. There was a stop at Gracie Mansion. They stopped traffic and saw a lot of support along the way. Even the guys who are boarding up those stores. These are construction workers who boarded up those Soho stores that got looted. They're supporting the crowd. And within the last half hour, the protesters took a knee at Gracie Mansion to send a message to Mayor de Blasio. The mood of this, such a contrast from what we saw after dark the last 2 nights. Different crowd, young, yes, but not all teenagers, a diverse, multiracial group. No conflict, no vandalism so far, and they've been chanting Black Lives Matter. They've called out the names of black men and women killed by police over the years, and these protesters we talked to believe this is a historic moment, and that's why some even brought their young children to bear witness.
It's important because it's his world. It's his world that he's going to get. It's him and his sister's world that are going to have the ultimate chance to truly, truly be what we intended to be, which is connected as human beings through love.
All the races and different cultures out here in numbers, it speaks volumes, and that's the only way we're going to make a change. We have to speak up and be a voice for others that don't have one. Absolutely.
Really the only police presence we've seen so far. Some officers at the back end of this following along. There were some people on the sidewalks clapping for them too. Now what about this curfew, 8 o'clock? I talked to some protesters. Most of them don't seem too concerned about that 8 p.m. curfew, so we'll have to wait and see what the police do if they continue to march. Now it looks like they're going to head down south on First Avenue, headed downtown. Reporting live from the Upper East Side, Adam Cooperstein, News 4 New York.
Okay, kind of a roundabout route, but Adam, you've been marching with them the whole time there. Let's get back in the air to give you that bird's eye perspective. Chopper 4 following this protest as it grows and snakes throughout Manhattan. Dennis Protzko, you're in Chopper 4. This certainly feels like the largest protest we've seen. And just talk about how wide this is, how many blocks this extends.
Yeah, quite incredible, Stephen. And where Adam left off, we're going to pick up, as he mentioned, taking this southbound turn onto 2nd Avenue. Right there at that intersection, you're looking at 80th Street. So this stretches a good 8 blocks north, then it cuts across 88th Street all the way over to 1st Avenue and coming off of York Avenue. So again, we're talking about well over, at one point, 20 blocks of people out here. We're looking at a crowd in excess of 5,000, the largest by far protest march that we've seen throughout this period. And at this point, it's been extremely peaceful. We have had no organized arrest at this point along the route, so it's been extremely peaceful and a quiet march along all of the streets through here in Manhattan, starting way down south in Lower Manhattan, visiting a number of parks, including Foley Square, Washington Square, all the way up north here using 1st Avenue and 3rd Avenue, and eventually moving all the way up to Gracie Mansion. So, of course, we'll continue to watch it again here southbound on 2nd Avenue right now, moving through the high 80s. as we make our way now towards Midtown Manhattan. Reporting live aboard Chopper 4. Ms. Protzko, Stefan and Natalie, back to you.
I tell you what, that's a lot of miles on your feet, but these protesters, we've been talking to them, and they say it's a fight worth fighting for as they march through the streets of Manhattan tonight. Dennis, thank you so much. 13,000 members of the New York National Guard are on standby, but Mayor de Blasio is pushing back on Governor Cuomo's offer to send them to the city. After last night's free-for-all and looting and vandalism, the governor gave a brutal critique, saying the mayor and the NYPD failed to do their jobs. Our government affairs reporter Melissa Russo has more on Governor Cuomo's harsh words for Mayor de Blasio and his police force.
Many New Yorkers agree last night's looting was out of control, but not Mayor de Blasio.
I am so sick of these efforts to mischaracterize realities.
As some veteran New York activists called for an end to the criminal looting.
Activists go for causes and justice, not for designer shoes.
A defensive de Blasio today insisted the looting was limited because it mostly happened in Midtown and the Bronx. He even contradicted his own police commissioner in public.
There was looting throughout New York City.
I want to disagree with the word throughout New York City.
In comes Governor Andrew Cuomo.
The NYPD and the mayor did not do their job last night.
Charging the mayor and his police department are failing at their jobs and denying reality.
This is a glass of water. This is not a glass of milk. It's a fact.
But despite the outrage of a governor who loves to dangle his power, especially over this mayor,
I have National Guard who are available.
Cuomo is stopping short of sending in the National Guard, A, because the mayor doesn't want them.
When outside armed forces go into communities, no good comes of it.
And B, because Cuomo says removing the mayor would be a lot right now.
My option is to displace the mayor of New York City. I don't think we're at that point.
There's one more reason Governor Cuomo might be avoiding the move, because it's precisely what President Donald Trump is demanding he do. New York City, call up the National Guard, the president tweeted today. The lowlifes and losers are ripping you apart. Act fast. Don't make the same horrible and deadly mistake you made with the nursing homes. Melissa Russo, News 4, New York.
In the Bronx, business owners spent much of the day assessing the damage there and cleaning up after strings of stores were looted. And tonight, we have some exclusive video from inside one of the businesses as it was being ransacked. I want to get out to News 4 investigative reporter Sarah Wallace live in the University Heights section with the work underway right now. Sarah.
Well, and Natalie, this scene behind me is something that we're seeing all over this community. This pharmacy that you see here, completely cleaned out. Now the owners are literally picking up the pieces.
The immorality is chilling to watch. You're looking at exclusive surveillance video of vandals breaking into Jessica Betancourt's eyeglass store in University Heights overnight, smashing display cases and kiosks, stealing everything in sight.
It hurts. I get emotional because we put hard work to make a difference in the community. They destroyed us.
We were inside the store this afternoon when Mayor de Blasio arrived for a surprise visit.
It's hard, let me tell you.
I know.
To stand here and speak to you and not shed a tear.
He toured several small businesses, pillaged and plundered by vandals who lit fires in the street while rampaging through blocks and blocks, shattering lives.
Pretty much a complete loss. Everything we had here, all the narcotics and medicine and everything over the counter, the front end. They even took the ATM machine, they pulled it out, they yanked it out, and it's pretty much savagery.
Jewelry stores a prime target too.
It's very devastated, you know, it's not right.
The cleanup began at daybreak and continued into the afternoon.
Seeing it with your own eyes, unbelievable, in your own neighborhood, that everything that you grew up with, now it's just totally destroyed. It's painful.
A boost from swarms of young people who swooped in with brooms and dustpans to help.
We agree with a peaceful protest because it's not right what's going on, but we don't agree with this. This is taking advantage of our community.
Jessica Betancourt has a message to the looters who started to run when they thought cops were coming. When no one did, they went back to business.
You guys are cowards. You guys are making it worse. You guys are damaging the memory of a person that died, that couldn't breathe, and it was asking for help.
And now so many of the businesses here need financial help. This is something we're also seeing. Many of the businesses like this restaurant have boarded up their fronts, trying to protect what they have left. They are worried that looters could come back for a second night. Live from the University Heights section of the Bronx, Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.
Yeah, that is certainly the fear as we begin another night. Sarah, thank you so much. Protesters took to the streets across New Jersey today. Demonstrations were largely peaceful after some violent clashes yesterday. In Toms River, there was a surprise for protesters. Police made a banner declaring police are with them. Today's peaceful march coming after last night's rally in Asbury Park that turned ugly. It's when about 100 people refused to obey the city's curfew at 8 o'clock.